2 Samuel 3. Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker.
Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone, and peace to you sincere brothers out there at the true house of David. And declaring the separation between the house of Saul, the house of David, and the house of Saul. Declaring the separation. The scriptures say don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. And the house of Saul are unbelievers. As you can understand when you go back to the scriptures, the house of Saul, the Lord told Saul to destroy all the Amalekites. And the thing was, Saul thought he did the right thing. He really thought that he did the right thing. Just like a lot of you men in this truth. You really think you're doing the right thing. You really think you're teaching the Lord's word. But the truth of it is, a lot of you guys are teaching this truth half meal. And a lot of you that do sit down, you're not teaching to the full capacity. And a lot of you men that don't do the work of the Lord, that don't even do your sit downs, you really think you're doing the work of the Lord, but you're doing the work of the Lord deceitfully. Therefore, you are a bunch of unbelievers. And the Lord is not dealing with the house of Saul. And we can see the house of Saul get weaker. And you could do your sit downs, but the Most High is not dealing with you, because deep down you're doing this thing for envy and strife. And a lot of you of the house of Saul, you got to understand the house of Saul will be more than the house of David. The house of David is only a few. The house of Saul will be looked down upon. The house of Saul will not be in the limelight. 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. You have a bunch of unbelievers. That's the house of Saul. Because the Lord told Saul, the Lord said, Saul, go out and destroy the Amalekites. But Saul did what he thought was right. And in the end, that wasn't what the Lord wanted to do. He spared the king. And the thing about it is, the Most High is not dealing with partiality or whatever you want to do. See, a lot of men of the house of Saul, they want to do what they think is right. They want to do what they want to do. So what they think what's right and what they want to do, they want to be lukewarm. They want to do what they want to do. They want to have a respect of persons of who they like. Not understanding that the Lord deals with who he deals with. And a lot of you men are the house of Saul. So that makes you what? Unbelievers of what the Lord actually told you to do. 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion have light with darkness? A lot of you guys are in the dark in the truth. You know, you have a light, but that motherfucker is about to die out. It's flickering on and off, while the house of David is shining through and through. See, the house of David, the Lord said that David was a man after the Most High's heart. And you guys are men after of men's heart. You're not of the Most High's heart. You're of the men's heart. You see, your heart is in this world with the outward appearance. The Lord does not deal with the outside appearance. The Lord deals with the inside. And the thing about it is, a lot of you men are handling the work of the Lord deceitfully, slackly, lukewarm. And then a lot of you support the lukewarm. You're in league with the lukewarm. You cater to the lukewarm. You have big groups, like, let's just say, like the apostles say, you have a lot of men that's lukewarm. A lot of you guys are catering to the lukewarm. And just because they're a part of your group, you don't have nothing really to say to them. And a lot of you will be destroyed with the lukewarm, you see. The separation between the house of Saul and the house of David. Now, the thing is, the house of David, they're going to be hot for the Lord. They're not going to be able to be around a lot of you men that's lukewarm. That's not what the Lord is going to allow them to do. The Lord has already begun the separation of the house of Saul and the house of David. And the thing about it, you have more people rooting for Saul than they really are rooting for the house of David. Because the house of Saul is all about respect of person. They're about numbers. They're about how they look. They're not about what the Lord said. A lot of you guys actually hate the Lord, and you want to be famous. You want to be in the camera. You want to shine, and you want to get your shine on this side. As the scripture say, a lot of you men have received your consolation. For the house of Saul is a house of deceit and jealousy. Remember how Saul was jealous of David because more women came out for David than they did for Saul. And that's how a lot of you men are. Deep down, you're a bunch of goddamn jealous haters. And that's the house of Saul, the majority. The majority are going to be lukewarm, thinking they're doing what the Lord told them to do, and really they ain't doing what the Lord told them to do. And this thing ain't about the likes of men. This is about the likes of the Lord. Acts chapter 13, verse 22. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. The Lord said David is going to fulfill all his will. And that's what the house of David is, because the Lord said be hot. And that's what the house of David is going to do. The house of David is going to be hot for the Lord. And they're going to do everything the Lord told them to do. Unlike a lot of you men out there, the Lord said be hot. You guys want to be in the middle. The Lord said go to the highways and the hedges. A lot of you guys go to the forest. A lot of you guys, you go to the parks. That it's not the chief place of concourse. So a lot of you guys are false prophets. You got a lot of false prophets and a lot of false brethren. That aligns with the house of David. That aligns with the house of Saul, the false prophets and the false brethren. You're in a wicked house. And remember how Saul was destroyed. He went out horribly. And a lot of you men, you're going to go out horribly too. And a lot of you have your hand in there with the wicked. A lot of you have your hand in there with the wicked. So therefore you will be destroyed with the wicked, man. And the Lord has separated certain men away from their house so you guys can be destroyed together. See, the plan of the Most High is very simple. You know, his ways is plain to the just. But until you wicked out there, you don't understand what the Lord is doing. And you think because of the numbers that actually you're in the right standards. No. Heavenly Father don't deal with numbers. The Lord said 1 out of 1,000. Matthew chapter 19, verse 30. But many that are first, like a lot of you men that are first in this society, that are in the forefront, but you're corrupt like a motherfucker. The scriptures say, shall be last, and the last shall be first. So a lot of the men that's looked down upon in this society, they're going to be first. And a lot of you men that's extremely high, you're going to be last. You're going to be under the true men of the Lord. A lot of you men ain't true men of the Lord. You know it. The Most High is going to destroy a lot of you, man. Just like the Lord did with Samuel. Samuel always thought he was doing the right thing. You see? But to the Lord, Samuel was doing the wicked. He was doing the wicked thing because he did what he wanted to do. A lot of you are doing what you wanted to do, not what the Lord wants you to do. Remember that, as there is a difference. There is a big difference, man. And the scriptures say it was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. It was a long war. Why it was a long war? Because these two houses cannot dwell together. So if you have a lot of men dwelling amongst each other together, really they are the house of Saul. And the house of David is not going to be able to dwell amongst them. And the house of David is not going to be in the limelight in this wicked ass kingdom. You see? First Samuel chapter 18, verse 12. And Samuel was afraid of David because the Lord was with him and was departed from Saul. So a lot of you dudes out there, you recognize that the house of David is getting stronger and stronger. You recognize that, and you ain't doing shit but getting weaker. And a lot of you guys ain't really teaching shit. You're teaching the same shit. You're not really going into nothing really to move no eyebrows or ruffle no feathers. You're staying in your lane. You know, Most High said, curses that man that hold back his sword. A lot of you are holding back that sword, thinking you're teaching. Now, remember, Saul thought he did the right thing too. And Samuel looked at his ass and shook his head like, man, you ain't doing what the Lord told you to do. And that's a lot of you men. That's a lot of you men, a lot of you top men too. Because a lot of you men that's in high positions, you teach this thing so you can look good. You see, you don't teach this thing for the Lord. You teach this so you can look good. 1 Samuel 18 and 13. Therefore Saul moved him from him, and made him as captains over 1,000. And he went out and came in before the people. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him. So behaving wisely is doing what the Lord told you to do, not being partial. Bringing out things that the Lord told you to bring out, being hot for the Lord, going to the highways and the hedges, that's being wise. It says, wherefore, when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. And a lot of you dudes, you're afraid of the house of David. Why? Because a lot of you men are not doing what the Lord told you to do. A lot of you guys are fucking reprobates, man. And you notice how men wasn't going out to the highways and hedges. They going to try to sneak their ass back to the highways and the hedges after they haven't been going to the highways and the hedges. Just watch that. Now, if the Spirit was on it, your ass would have been going to the highways and the hedges. You see? So a lot of corrupt men out there already. You shouldn't. Men shouldn't have to say go to the highways and the hedges for men to go to the highways, man. And a lot of you are doing the work of the Lord deceitfully. You're cursed. That's why you don't bring out certain things. You're not about controversy. You're not about being hated. You're about being loved. And why would you want to be loved in this wicked ass society? 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 4. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. You see? So a lot of evil spirits on you men out there. A lot of you men are not right. A lot of you men, you let that cloud actually gives pride to you. Pride is on a lot of you men. A lot of you men out there, pride has taken over your evil goddamn heart. The Lord is not dealing with you, man. You see? And that's the thing about it. Saul, he had pride in him too. To the fact that he really thought that he did what the Lord told him to do, man. And Samuel told us that, like, man, you didn't do what the Lord told you to do. And that's a lot of you men in these last days. The interest of the Lord is not in your heart, man. Proverbs 16:18, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall, right? Pride goes before a lot of you guys destruction. You're going to be destroyed. Proverbs 29:23, and a man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. And the Lord is only dealing with the humble and the meek in spirit. The Lord is not dealing with the majority of you men. You see, the Lord is not dealing with the majority of you men. The majority will be destroyed. All of you guys. You know, last shall be first, and the first shall be last, and the last shall be first, as the scriptures say. And a lot of you men, you know in the spirit you're not right, and you know the Lord's going to destroy your weak ass. Psalms 26, Psalms 25:9. The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way. So the meek really see these things for how it is. You see? Psalms 149:4, for the Lord will take pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. And a lot of you guys with a lot of pride, you're going to be destroyed, man. The Most High is not dealing with the majority of you men. Well, that's what the Lord said. The Lord said it will be many false prophets and false brethren. You better believe it. A lot of these men out there, they have masks on, man. Meaning that they appear to be righteous, but deep down they're a bunch of goddamn devils, man. You see? And the thing about it is, we're not afraid to come out with this part of the doctrine. You see? Because somebody got to do it. So going back, man. Matthew 7:22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? Yeah, you did, but you did it deceitfully. You see? So a lot of people are going to say, Yahushua, we did prophesy in your name. And it says, in thy name, and then cast out devils, and in thy name have done many wonderful works. That's right. But the Lord's going to tell you as depart, man, because he didn't never know you. And that's the thing about this truth. A lot of you men are in this truth for your own fucking gain. And a lot of you guys are corrupt. You came in the truth with a corrupt mind, and you're gonna die in that corrupt mind, and you're gonna die a horrible death like Saul did. Saul didn't die an honorable death. Yeah, Saul didn't die honorable death. You see? And the Lord said many false prophets have gone out into the world. Many false prophets have gone out into the world. So you have to understand that, man. Many are called, few are chosen. Matthew 24:10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. It says, and many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. A lot of you guys have been set up to gather the one the Lord does not want, so they can be destroyed with your ass. See, the deceived and the deceiver are his. So you got to understand that you guys think you're deceiving and leading. Actually, you're deceiving and you're leading men to be destroyed, as your ass is going to be destroyed, as your ass is deceived. You see? Matthew 24:12, because the iniquity shall abound and the love of many shall wax cold. And that's what time we're in. Winter time of many men are waxing cold. You got to understand what this thing is. So the scripture tell you in 1 Samuel 3, 2 Samuel 3, that the house of David, it says, he that have clean hands shall be strong and stronger. And a lot of you guys have dirty hands. You have your hands in there with the wicked. So that makes you what? Unclean. Because if you're around a lot of men that's lukewarm and that's iffy, that might even be spies and this, that, and the third, guess what? You're in there with the wicked. You have your hands in there with the wicked. And that's why a lot of you guys are growing weaker. You don't really go into shit. A lot of you don't go to the highways no more. A lot of you guys, you're not high for the Lord. You're in the middle. So a lot of you dudes will be destroyed. And the house of David don't want shit to do with the house of Saul. The majority, the bulk of you men in these groups, you a bunch of goddamn demons. Job 17 and 9. The righteous also shall hold on his way, and he that have clean hands shall be stronger and stronger. So that's the thing about it. The house of Saul is not going to do what the Lord wants them to do. They're going to be destroyed. Matter of fact, let's read verse 8. Upright men shall be astonished at this, and the innocent shall stir up himself against the hypocrites. So a bunch of you guys are a bunch of hypocrites and a bunch of actors, a bunch of goddamn beta males. That's the house of Saul. The house of Saul is against what the Lord told them to do. And you all will be destroyed. The scriptures say many false prophets have gone out to the world. You see? And with you being in the eyes of the world, you're going to get a lot of people destroyed that follow your weak ass. You see? You see how the Lord is cold, man. The Lord is cold. That's what the Lord said. He takes the things that are low to confound the things that are strong, that put themselves up there. 1 John 4:1, beloved, believe not every spirit. Even if guys get a lot of goddamn views, because a lot of them dudes, they get a lot of views. Just look at Adam Abbott, look at General Kahana, look at Nate, look at all these guys, even guys in Great Millstone. They get a lot of views, but a lot of these men are fucking corrupt. And they are been put out there to stir up many to destruction, because a lot of their ass is lukewarm and they don't believe. So that's why the Lord said in 1 John 4:1, beloved, believe not every spirit, try the spirit whether they be of the Most High. Many false prophets are going out into the world. Many false prophets are going out, and they're going to be destroyed. 2 John 1:7. For many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Yahushua has come in the flesh. This deceiver is an antichrist. So you have men, they probably confess that the Lord came in the flesh, but a lot of men are deceivers that enter into the world. And the Lord was telling us it's going to be many. 2 Peter 2:2, and many shall follow their pernicious ways. By the reason the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And they speak evil of men that really actually bring out the truth. But as the Lord tells you in Revelations, this is the separation between the house of Saul and the house of David. The house of David is only a few. You see, the Lord said there's one just man out of 1,000. The majority of your men, 2/3 of you are false prophets, you're false teachers. You see, and you're set up to lead the majority of men astray. You're set up to do that. Revelations 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers, the fearful and the unbelieving. Guess what? They said what? The abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars shall have their part, which burn in a lake of fire with brimstone, which is the second death. A lot of you going to be destroyed. A lot of you, the Lord set your ass up to lead a majority of people to death. A lot of you guys have been set up like Saul. But the men of the Lord will be the men after the Lord's heart, as David was, you see. And David was the true example of an underdog. All the men of the Lord in the scriptures, they had the courage to be hated. A lot of you phonies out there, you're a bunch of cowards, man. And I mean that shit. A lot of you guys, from the big titles to the small. And a lot of you guys following these false prophets, you're going to get the same fate as they ask. Declaring the separation from the house of Saul and the house of David is already began. Hey, shalom.